That's the best, it'll look good. I guess we'll go for lunch.
I think they're going to.
Speak of the world. Smile, or I can't see them.
We're ready.
We're ready. Good morning.
Good luck to you, man.
Everybody, welcome to the meeting number 531 of the Lakeport Park Commission. It's Tuesday, September 27th, and we're at Bolton Town Hall in downtown Bolton. Welcome and introductions. I just mentioned in the introductions this morning that we unfortunately had two of our excellent employees go on to advanced employment within the state of the New York system. And so Dave and the gang have been diligently following New York state law, which is a little complicated. You just can't drag somebody off the street. And we have pleased to announce that we got two new hires starting on March the 7th, which will be our front office gal, who does a lot more than that, and our money gal, who, I don't mean gal, person, who handles the accounting and whatnot. So, big next March is at the meeting. Approval of meeting minutes and fiscal actions report. Approval of meeting minutes for December 2023. And I don't believe there was a meeting in January, so there's no minutes. Motion.
So moved.
Second. Motion made, motion seconded to approve the minutes from December 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
No. Approval of fiscal actions report for both December 2023 and January 2024. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Wait a second, I have a couple questions. Is that okay, Ken? Well, or a couple statements here. I think that I just wanted to
Technically, the discussion on the report is made after the motion made and seconded, but I'm going to...
Oh, okay, that's right. I'm sorry.
I'd like to hear your comments.
No, Ken, I was going to ask you about that, and I was waiting for you to make the motion. I didn't know that it had to be seconded. That's why I interjected. Okay, well, that's okay. We
Why
can.
don't you give us a comment?
Well, it's nothing serious. I just wanted to ask about the $5,700 that was paid to RPI on December 11th. And it was nice to hear that those septic fees that had not been paid for the septic initiative, the $50 a year, 158 of them were paid back, which I thought was kind of good. And then I saw in January the law enforcement fines that were a little over $10,500. They were paid, and I thought people were just getting around to paying it, but at least they did reimburse us for
That one was an installment, it was a high fine, so it was a yearly installment.
Okay. But back to that, RPI. What are we doing with RPI?
Yeah, RPI, if you remember, we had Jeremy Farrell come in at one time. We're talking about they're taking all their years of studies and summarizing them down for us. They're kind of compiling that. So that was that's a almost $49,000 contract that the commission approved with RPI. So they forwarded a first small invoice for, I believe, the $5,700. So we approved that, and that's off. Interesting to note, I got late last week from Sandra 6 other sections for us to take a look at and kind of review and just make sure the format that we're looking for, the summary, the graphics are what we're looking for. So they're on track, which is good. And when they're all done to basically staff satisfaction, then we want them to come in and do a full presentation in front of the board and the public about the findings and the outcomes. And after that, we'll have a final report that will be posted on the website and sent out to everybody. So this is kind of the first step.
Thanks, Dave. I totally forgot about that.
What's the final product?
Final product, the cost is $49,000, and it's going to be taking decades of their scientific research And instead of having a 40-page scientific paper with no graphics or whatever, this is going to be just simple summaries. This is what was studied across this broad array of topics: invasive species, stream sampling, nearshore water chemistry, deep water chemistry, emerging topics, harmful algae blooms, and just taking all of their science that they've worked on for decades and just providing just high-level overviews with some simple summaries so somebody can say, what is the status of aging clams on Lake George, or zebra mussels, or HABs, where are we with that? What about the 40 years of stream sampling? So each of those will have its own dedicated page plus some graphics, just so people can take a high-level overview of, here's the status of some science on Lake George. And one of the intents was to give the board and the staff a good kind of understanding of what they have done, so it'll give us some help in saying, where do we want to go next? So this was kind of our opening salvo to working with Young Fresh Water, to sit down with them on like a quarterly basis and say, hey, what are you guys working on? What is the commission working on? And is there a way that we can assist in gaining some knowledge on these topics that would help us make decisions on projects and programs going forward?
This is what we need to do. And amazingly enough, I've had, approached by 2 or 3 people who said, hey, what's going on with fresh water, and how does that relate to you? And, I'm sitting there saying, well, I really don't know.
It's cool.
We've got that
So it's going to be great. We expect them to come in maybe in May. I think we'll probably have a lot of it wrapped up. And we'd like them to do a full-on half-hour, 45-minute presentation of their summaries and overviews. And then if the board is interested, over the next year, we'll be kind of working back and forth with them and saying, are there additional needs? We do have some resources now that we haven't in the past. If we want to advance a better understanding of a certain topic and they have the skills to do so, which they probably will, then we can kind of move forward in that capacity.
This sounds like an article for a nerd.
It does.
Thank you, that's awesome. I'm sorry, Ken, that's it. Yeah, that was excellent, thank you. Well, I'm actually glad we knew about that.
Financial. Approval of fiscal actions report for December 2023, January 2024, motion.
I'll make a motion.
Made, seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Passed. Thank you. Vehicle requisition for audit invasive species program.
Yeah, so you may remember back in December, I had spoken to you guys at the meeting about our current vehicle fleet. The average age of the vehicles in our fleet is about 14 years, and only 2 vehicles have the ability to tow a trailer. One of them is the 2007 Suburban that the patrol is using, and that's got 170,000 miles, and the dash is blinking, and it's not long for this world. The other is our 2014 F-250, and that is the workhorse of the commission. That's the truck that Roger and I typically use in the boat inspection program to deliver supplies. We haul fuel and water and tools in that truck, as well as most of the infield repairs of our equipment happen on the tailgate of that truck. And when we got the new office, we put a plow on it, so it's starting to see some salt. And that is 10 years old now. And just kind of looking forward at the needs of the agency with the Suburban, again, not belong to this earth. We thought it would be wise to purchase another vehicle that is capable of towing and outfit it for more infield repairs. Our Landers are 10 years old as well now, and they're seeing more in-service repairs. So this requisition is for it's going to be a 2024 F-350 being approved, and we're going to get a service body put on the back, so it won't have a regular pickup truck bed. It'll have a service body so we can store parts and supplies on the truck, out of the weather, away from sticky fingers. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. This will be an addition. The way the state sees it, a pickup truck is not considered a fleet addition, so technically our vehicle fleet is not increasing. The truck is a piece of equipment. So yes, we are adding one vehicle to the fleet, but the state doesn't see it that way. So that's why it's kind of nice the truck doesn't count towards our fleet. And then The blue F-250 will probably spend its summer bouncing back and forth between the office and Green Island to assist with moving the boats around. Angelo always takes the F-250 across the state when he takes the boat out to Buffalo for training. That's another reason why we need another vehicle, because that only leaves the Suburban. So on any given day, we might be, trailering a Landa or hauling a dump trailer for milfoil needs to be emptied, or maybe taking some surplus equipment someplace. So it's possible that we need 3 tow vehicles at the same time, and we only have 2, and only one of them is really any good. Hence the purchase.
We have a resolution.
Yep, Resolution 2024-1. Whereas the Lake George Park Commission conducts various programs within the Lake George Basin, and whereas the successful implementation of these various programs requires the trailing and servicing of program equipment, including 3 duration water milfoil dump trailers, 9 Landa rope decontamination units, 1 flatbed utility trailer, and a dozen boat trailers. And whereas the commission staff has submitted a request, business plan, and justification to the New York State OGS detailing the program need and outlining the existing commission's vehicle ages, which average 14 years old. And whereas the effective program operations requirement requires the purchase of equipment and supplies to support the program, including 1 heavy-duty pickup truck with service body to provide trailer capabilities, a service platform for equipment maintenance, transportation of commission staff throughout the park to implement the commission's programs. Whereas the commission staff has investigated the types of vehicles available on state contract and determined that the vehicle best meets the needs of the various programs. Now therefore be resolved that the commission authorizes the executive director to sign a purchase order for the purchase and delivery of 1 2024 Ford F-350 with the service body consistent with the state contract pricing, and at a cost of not to exceed $67,800, consistent with the New York State finance law and contingent on the approval of New York State OGS and New York State Division of Budget. So moved.
Motion made, motion seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no nays, resolution approved.
Thank you.
Item number 4.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could, Mr. Huckins here with his application today. It's a fairly straightforward application. I suggest maybe we move Mr. Huck up on the agenda so he can get back to his work, and we don't have to keep him here through the presentation if there's no one calling.
Sounds like a good deal.
That's my project, yep, I'll present on this.
Skip to number 5, which is the resolution.
So Mr. Michael Huck, who's here with us today, is the owner of Adirondack Classics LLC, and he is seeking approval for a Class A marina modification on his facility at 180 Finkel Road in the town of Bolton. This is an upland parcel. It's been previously authorized for repair of vessels, and Mr. Huck is now seeking authorization to provide winter storage up to 20 vessels on the property. The town of Bolton has already approved this in 2015, so Mr. Huck is just looking to get authorization from the partner agency involved, us, to have it and to obtain this marina modification permit. The boats will be launched and retrieved once a year from Norwal Marina into Sawmill Bay. I've provided the seeker review for the board to review with minimal impact on the environment overall, as determined by staff review. And is currently under an order of consent to bring the marina into compliance in this way via a marina modification to allow these storages. So there's been no comments in opposition, and the only jurisdiction taken was by the town of Bolton 9 years ago to approve it. I can answer any questions about the technical sides of the application, but in terms of business model and what he proposes to do, I'm just glad Mr. Huck is here, and if he would like to speak, I'll let you can speak, if the chairman.
Any comment?
No, I'm just here to get approval. have a small business in town, that can mean a part-time guy, and just looking to make a little extra, some boat storage.
Any, commissioners have any questions, comments?
Yep, resolution 2024-03. Application number is M245073. Applicant is Michael Hall, Adirondack Classics. Whereas the applicant has applied for a Class A marina modification to offer outdoor storage up to 20 vessels, and the Lake George Park Commission has reviewed the application, supporting documents, comments received, and other information which appears in the record. And the commission has made a determination that the project is an unlisted action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, 6 NYCRR 6.617.5, and as lead agency for the purposes of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, has made a determination that the project will have no significant impact on the environment, and the action is considered to be a major project pursuant to 6 NYCRR 645-5.3, and public notice has been published and distributed as required. The applicant has demonstrated that the activity and facility comply with the Class A marina requirements of 6 NYCRR 646-1.1B, and whereas the commission finds the project will have no adverse impact on the health, safety, and welfare of the public, the environment, or the resources of the park, will not alter the essential character of the area in which it is proposed, will not lead to congestion in the park, will not have an undue visual, cultural, audible impact on the neighborhood or the park. Now therefore be resolved, the Lake George Park Commission hereby resolves to approve the above application as proposed. So moved.
Motion's made. Second?
Yep.
Any questions, discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone nay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks. Thanks. Yep, that's you.
Now we'll go to item number 4, presentation of the customer-based American pool development. Jason,
Set up a projector tonight.
picture for us.
So while he's getting set up, just a little bit of backstory. So the commission has been slowly dragging ourselves into the new century with databases, and Jason, who's kind of a geographic information systems whiz. Joe Stanek has been, I think he got to our office at 6 this morning. He's been working on our finances now that Eric has been gone and getting our billing ready. So we're getting to where we need to be. And this is actually an interesting project that Jason started working on of his own volition. When Joe Thillen 2-3 years ago came up with the idea of revamping our old regulatory database, because ours was straight out of the 1960s and falling apart, we got this new program called CitizenServe that Jason's going to take us through. So the part that that Joe and the team built for managing all of our regulatory actions, our permits, our actions, those types of things. So that was kind of a process altogether that Joe was in charge of, did an excellent job with it. That's what we use today. Joe Stanek and the team added the financial side of it. That's how we're doing all of our billing now. And one step beyond that is what Jason is going to talk about today, which was something that Joe and I had talked about a while back, about this public-facing database. But this is something that Jason took on of his own volition, and it's really very interesting, so we look forward to it.
Thanks, Dave. That's a great background. I don't really need to do the background for this, so I'll jump in, and we're just going to go over our database and the product that we pulled from it, our public map, which is available to anyone with a laptop or a phone and an internet connection, and it's a way for us to share our permits and programs for visitors and residents of Lake George. So, our background, we are the Lake George Park Commission. You're the commissioners, we're the staff. And the Lake George Park is bound by Conservation Law 43, and it covers 3 counties, 11 towns, and 13,000 parcels. And our legislative intent of our commission is to enhance the natural scenic beauty and the surrounding countryside for Lake George, recognizing its importance to our state, community, and to everyone. And we do this through our programs and regulations, such as docks and mooring regulations, stormwater regulations, public safety with marine patrol. And the Lake George Park grows to the size of a small city in the summertime, during the weekends especially. And for that level of organization of data, we were looking into a new database. This was before my time. Joe led that initiative to find a online database called CitizenServe, and it builds itself as e-government solutions. So it sort of just builds for smaller cities, for permits, code enforcement, licensing, complaints. So a lot of it, you think like San Antonio or these smaller cities is the clients. It's cloud-based, so we can store everything right online. So if we have internet access, we have essentially unlimited storage. It's got a public portal option, which we're working towards, so people can apply online and just do that their own way without a paper trail. It'll end up in our own queue to be reviewed. And you can also pay your bills through CitizenServe. It allows us to communicate across teams, like schedule septic inspections or task each other with review of plans. And it allows us to export large amounts of data, which you guys have been seeing. This is our dashboard. This is our web-based, our portal, and the bills that we send out. And we are able to export large amounts of our program data, thousands of properties. So there's 2,700 septic program parcels, and we can export all of them at once and every piece of information about it. And taking this mass aggregate of data, we can synthesize it into the graphs that you guys see and that we present to the public, if you guys have seen at these meetings. So that's one nifty thing that we've been able to pull from this. And what I've been able to do to help my own work, and I hope other people's work too, is to make a property dashboard. One downside of CitizenServe I found is it's all web page based. So you go to one web page for a permit, you go to one web page for the property information. I wanted to take everyone's property information, their marina information, their tour boat information, septic information per parcel, and put it together on one screen like a dashboard. So if someone calls and say, I live at 300 Cleverdale, I know this guy, Alfred operates really nice. I can pull up everything that's been done with them since our time. So Dave and I inspected his septic system last year. He's due in 2028. He has a dock and a mooring. We did a mooring for a variance 2 years ago. This is his property information here, how much his home is worth, how many bedrooms. All this is publicly available RP data. I've also been able to, it's searchable, it's queryable, so we can do things like say how many close-sided boathouses are in Cleverdale, how many L-shaped docks are in the town of Hague, how many septic inspections passed across the whole lake. We can just sort of synthesize that with this data that came from CitizenServe and lets us work with it custom in Microsoft Access is the program here. I've also tied together our local files. So if you click this button up here, that'll pull up their summary file review. And if you click this button here, that'll just pull up their local file here and other files that are important to us, like surveys and maps that Joe and I use every day. This here is where I want to take the presentation now. This is our online GIS map, Geographic Information Systems map, which, as I was saying, is publicly available to staff and public and all of you guys, and I hope you use it. So the LGPC public map is public, it's easy to use, it's free to access, and we're going to be updating it regularly with the permits and the authorized plans. It's all parcel-based, so we get a big aggregate of all parcels at the Lake George Park once a year, and we update our files with it, and then that's just going to populate the map as we go forward. It's powered through ArcGIS online and MS OneDrive. We already have subscriptions to these, so it didn't require us to pay any more money to do this. And it has these neat little built-in widgets, like you can find your information, you can search, you can measure, you can draw, and you can print a map on this. And that's going to help with these various programs that we have tied into it with these tabs on the top. So just a background on GIS, this is something I really like. I took one class on it in college, and just from career, I just kind of built more and more portfolio to it. But basically, GIS just takes data and connects it with geographic data together. So think about, just like a table or something tied to geographic points, or a line or a point, something like that, and then ties them all together, and then overlays them think about a projector from back in school. We're all old enough to remember these, the overhead projectors. You could lay multiple transparent sheets on top of it. That's essentially what you do here, and it allows you to digitally clip and cut and pull this one out and pull that one out and change data as needs. And then these are the parts, these are the programs that we use. One of them just being Google. You don't realize how everyone is using GIS every day just to navigate to their work from Google Maps. And so it's used for lots of different things. You know, ecology is the one that I use the most, but this is an exciting way to present public information and public permits. So the actual the methods for it was pretty easy. It was mostly just cumbersome. It was just a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of data and connections. But really, once I got the process down, it became pretty easy. So I just took the layers of data, such as the Lake George Park, our streams, our lake, the towns, the various parcels, overlaid them, and then attached each person's parcel number to the permits. So you got your parcel ID on a permit, you got your parcel ID on the actual parcel, and connected them. And then I was able to populate all of these together. This is what it looks like behind the scenes. That's our office there highlighted, so I have my layers on the left, and I have the information on the bottom. And then, so the internet service is not great here, and I actually have a hotspot on my phone, so I can hopefully demonstrate that. I didn't know if that was going to work, so I'm going to just walk you guys through some screenshots of what it's like, and then I have the link for you guys and a QR code that you can hold your phone up and pull it up on your phones, and it's also going to be on our website. But here are the different programs that we've added to it. So boat sticker vendors, the blue are where you can buy boat sticker vendors, inspection stations, docks and moorings, tour boats, marinas, and septic systems. So if you were to click on one of the locations to buy a boat sticker location, it will zoom in, and you can learn more about how to calculate your fees and what type of sticker you need to buy. You can then pull up more information about it, including its Google Maps location, and it will open up Google Maps for you so you can navigate right there. It's the same story for our invasive species stations, Justin's program. So this is the South Beach here. It would zoom you right in there and provide you with the best way to get there. Docks and moorings, this is my program. So this one excites me a lot. And this was the hardest one to put together. So there's 4,000 docks on Lake George and 800 moorings across 2,700 properties. And each of those properties has authorized dock plans attached to it. So 2,700 dock plans. I took each one of those dock plans, attached a URL to it, like a website, put it into a table, and load that table into each of the parcels. So now you can download your own parcel's authorized dock plan. So you can search here, find your own property, zoom into your property, learn more about it, what kind of dock you have, an F-shaped dock, a U-shaped dock, your permit number, your lakefront, and then you can download your authorized file review right there. So you see this is what, if they were to call our office, we would send them this. Now people can take their own initiative and download it themselves. And there's also, like I was mentioning, these cool tools up here. So measuring and drawing and changing your base map. So I envision someone could just sort of play around a little bit with their permit and say, oh, I want to, draw a little bit further off here. How far am I from my neighbor's property? How big is this dock that I'm thinking about buying in Lake George? So this enables people a little bit more to just to push their own projects forward. Tour boats. The most important thing about this page is these cute little tour boat icons that I was able to populate with. That was a happy point here. This, you can just click on any of these. These are our authorized tour boats. And it'll give you the information on how to contact them, their email, what services they provide. I want to note that our data is, the tour boat program especially, is growing. We've been taking more and more information over time, like what they do is sightseeing or fishing or what kind of vessel they have. So this is not always fully populated. I just know that we've worked on Gary here lately, so he has the most full, but pretty much everyone at least has their permit number and information, so you can find a tour boat, an authorized tour boat on Lake George. Marinas, there we go. Marinas, it's hard to see, it's a little blurry, but you can zoom in and sort of search for your favorite marina and pull up information about it, including its permit number, facility, lakefront, how many slips there are, is there a pump out, is there winter storage, and this is going to help, just lots of people if they need to find marina services. Or I'd like to do the same thing eventually, where I'd like to open up take their own initiative and update their own marina modifications like Mr. Hutt had previously. This is also a really fun one. This is our septic system inspections, and this one we zoom into. This will let us color-coded know which year each septic or each property is going to be inspected for a septic system. So red is 2024, orange is 25, yellow is 26, green 27, blue 28. This is Assembly Point here, and we can click on any one of these. This is George Hirsch property, and we can see the status of it. So this one is going to be inspected this year. These blue ones up here are 2028, which if you're savvy, you would know that that's 5 years past 2023, that would be a pass. Or that they're just compliant until that year. So there's some information on this to dig through, but people are always asking us, when am I getting inspected? And they want to know, should I get on an engineer ahead of time, or you know, they just want to know more about it. This is also helpful for our staff, because we have these drawing tools on it, and we have these measuring tools, so staff or one of our inspectors can know how far is that leach field from the lake shore, or he can draw in actually where are these different tanks, and that's just going to help in the field in general, as long as we have internet access, or you run the stewards having coffee and do your work there. Okay, and who is this for? This is for everybody because it's public. This is for visitors. I think people who don't know enough about our voting programs and how to keep Lake George free of invasive species, or how to keep it properly regulated. Applicants and homeowners, people that want to update their permits, contractors, these and Davies are always calling us for authorized plans or want to know more about a property. Municipal partners, think Town of Bolton, these types of people may want to know what a marina or who are doing, so I hope they can use it too. And of course, staff. I hope that Marine Patrol can use it for dock inspections. I'll use it for dock inspections. Staff and our wastewater inspectors can, you know, update and check on the status of a property. And then our permitting and analysis. I just hope in general we can use this more for large-scale analysis. You know, number of docks, number of septic systems failed, like I was saying, bigger queries to provide you with objective information. Going forward, next possible steps, I'd like to keep building the map. One thing I thought is we have a GPS unit on our boat, and it has all the 5-mile-per-hour zones, or all the hazards and such. And this wouldn't be able to replace it, but is it something that I could provide people that they could research ahead of time to know that, you know, don't blast right through Speakerhead and Assembly Point, let's go somewhere else. Or not everyone has a GPS on their boat. I had my bachelor party on Lake George a year before coming here, and we didn't know where we were. And, you know, that would have helped if we could have researched ahead of time, and it's been a little bit safer. I'd also like to maybe update like the lake locations map. Like there's all these dozens, maybe not even hundreds of bays and islands, and Dave will say, like, we're in Land Shanty Bay, and we're like, okay. But it is an actual bay, so if we can actually permit something, people would know more about where they are. And again, I want to keep building our data in there, our marinas and tour boats, and it helps us actually visualize and improve our data as we go. So, this is our QR code. If you were to hold your phone up to it, you don't have to. I would take you to the website, or if you just click the link right there, that'll take you to. And I have it open. It's not synced to the internet yet, but hopefully. I'm going to hold my hotspot. One moment. Good. So here it is. And it should work now if we have enough data. I'll type in my favorite place on the lake, Lauderdale. It'll zoom us in, and then we can zoom in and we can learn more about any property that we want to. This is Mark Caverly. I've worked with this fellow before. And then we can pull up his authorized dock plans like such. And he's ready to go. And all these other programs up here, like I just went through, marinas, tour boats. And this is fun to make. I hope it's fun to use. And I hope it's useful. So please see our website to regularly access it, or I can just drop you guys a link after the meeting too.
So Jason, we can get this on the website, it'll say Lake George Park Commission, tool-based map or whatever?
Yeah, I think that could just be a hyperlink.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are we privy to access other people's information?
Yeah, so just for file reviews, and anything we put on there, and that's all public data, or
Well, that's
publicly
true.
available, so, yeah, we did think about that a little bit. And I tried not to put anything on there that's too sensitive, like I didn't want to put anyone's septic inspection status on there, because everyone will say, like, I knew it all along, the septic was failing. But, you know, I think you deserve to know when a property is on, and this is possibly helpful, and nothing on here is private.
But as far as distance of the leach field to the water or the septic tank and all that, is that available?
That would be just us using it internally, drawing our own and printing it. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe someday we could load authorized septic plans onto it too, but that's really, they're all over the place, and a lot of places don't even have plans. And, I know we have all the dock plans, so that's why I wrote the dock plans on.
Well, you've put a lot of work into overlapping everything. I mean, that information didn't go in, get in there on its own. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just, you ever think about putting the buoys, the red and green buoys on the map?
Yeah, I think so.
Directions.
I want to talk to Joe and Carla about that too, because like, I don't want someone to, you know, there's always some natural inaccuracy to GIS. We were just arguing about, talking about what is this, the shoreline of the lake, and we're going from 200 miles to 100 miles, just from basic inaccuracies built into it. So I'd be worried about someone saying like, oh, Jason's map said I was fine here. But as long as we built in language saying like these, you know.
Well, you take them by GPS, right?
Yeah, GPS I think is.
Points on your map.
Yeah, yeah. And this is also dependent on having service.
Yeah.
Which is tricky when you're on the boat.
Right. Very good job.
Yeah, that was great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
good.
Jason, how do we protect ourselves and all of our customers that are on the map from bad actors?
Who,
Well, can anybody get inside that?
inside of the map?
Yeah, some 11-year-old sitting in Kansas, you know, playing with his computer in the cellar. Can he adapt to?
Not only just us, only me with the actual software behind the scenes and it's password protected, and just talking about Commissioner LaValbard, whatever's on there is public anyway. And we didn't launch this without running it by you guys, and there's no resolution to adopt it. But if anyone's got some real gut concerns, we won't launch it. We can talk about it ahead of time.
Well, I was just thinking I could make my 40-foot dock 65 feet and then come in and convince you that's what it was. Look at it. It shows it on the chart. So now you got to allow me for 65 feet.
You can't update it.
If you can do that, you don't need to work with us anyway. You're welcome. You know. So I don't see too much worry about that. It's not something that can be hacked. It's really just like a file sharing type of thing. Publicly available documents.
Very good. Thank you for it.
Thanks, Jace.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You know, what's interesting about the timing is 3 years ago, the governor's office came out and said, we're requiring all agencies in New York State to put together a transparency plan. Let's make sure, you know, sunshine, all this other kind of stuff. And as everybody on the board knows, we pride ourselves on being excessively transparent in everything we do. So we've already done like everything that they had already suggested and then more. And they're like, well, we need you to do next steps anyway. I'm like, I don't know what else we honestly do. If we get a FOIL request, we answer it in 5 minutes, all right? And then Jason came up with this project. I'm like, ooh. So I wrote it. They're like, that's amazing. That's awesome. I'm like, done. 3 years, I'll be retired. It'll be great. I don't have to do it again. But it was just odd timing. He's presenting this to me, and then the next day, like, all right, what do you guys plan on doing for the next 3 years for transparency? And this is just, I think, the perfect tool to do so. This is our septic, its docks, marinas, tour boats, everything that we generally, these two anyway, regulate through a process. All of that information is not public facing. So I think it's pretty incredible.
I'm sure the media is interested in this also.
Yeah. Jason, I have one more
Sure.
question. As far as I saw where you had color-coded with the blue, the depths of water, in the bays and throughout the lake.
Oh, the bathymetry?
Yeah.
I don't know if that exists. That would be something the Jefferson Project might have. We don't have that.
Oh, that's what I was wondering, because right now, I have never in all my years, and there's a lot of them behind me, seen the lake this low. It is like so low, because there's no runoff, right? I mean, there's been, I've never
It's early
seen,
yet, we haven't.
but there isn't any runoff, there's no snow.
Well, right now, we're actually fairly close to, we were high for a while.
Yes.
So now that Roger's
Rain
gone,
forever.
I'm kind of taking over the lake level responsibilities short-term until we get somebody to kind of backfill that. But I just, as we're speaking, from Lachute Hydro, Patriot Hydro now, and I asked them specifically, we're very close to the rule curve on where we need to be right now, but people think the lake is low because it was so high for so long with all the rain that we got in December. But right now, we're within like 300 inch of where we're supposed to be, so we're right on the money. And all that information, if you go to, right on our website, if you scroll down, you'll see lake level, and it'll show you the rule curve and where we are.
And they have it in the Post-Star, but when I saw how low it was in the bay at Hewlett's, I have, like I said, you could see almost where the bottom of the lake was. It was only, like, the dock was only this much out of the water. The
Just because
water
the
was
water's
only
so
this
clear,
much
it
up.
looks like it's shallow, that's all.
I was
Interesting
scary.
enough, I can hop in here. My previous life, I was a board member of the Lake Shores Association. This goes way back before you did, other people. And so because the gauge that measures the lake is on our property, obviously I was the guy picked to talk about that gauge, to read it every day, because my uncle and grandfather read that gauge for the last 100 years pretty much.
Do you know when
And
that
it's
was put in?
interesting because I had, in one week, I got 2 letters about this for the OGA. And one of them said, I've never seen the lake this low in my life. The other one said, this lake is so high, I can't believe it. So what people think they are seeing is obviously different than what's real.
And Kathy, you're not alone, because I've had 2 other people say the same thing. Well, the lake is low for this time of year. But my assumption is that it was so high, when we take a walk at lunchtime, the water was up at the bottom of the village docks like a month ago, which is crazy. And now it's down, and even when I was walking the other day, I'm like, wow, the lake level has dropped significantly. And then I look to where we're supposed to be, and we're right on the money. So they're operating right now at 70% capacity out of the gates. They were 75 last week. So the water is dropping down enough, but their primary responsibility is to adhere to the rule curve. Only after they get to that rule curve can they generate power. Right, so everything, and the people that are doing it now really seem to be on top of their game. Roger's managed this for 34 years. He's stepping out. I'm learning a little bit more about it. But they do a nice job up there.
Oh, I know, we do. Thanks.
Very good. We all set on that?
Yep.
Moving on. Law enforcement.
No, we need to do the project review actions report.
Project review. Joe Stan, I'd like to mention Joe Stan, we don't thank him enough.
Thanks, Joe.
He's the only guy in this room, including the staff, that's got like 100,000 hours during the last 2 fiscal years of bringing the park commission computer stuff, I call it, into 2024. So thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, tell us what else you have to talk about.
Resolution 2024-02, accept the project review actions report. Whereas the commission has received and reviewed the project review actions report prepared by the staff and dated February 20th, 2024, and the project review committee recommends acceptance of the project review actions report. Now therefore be resolved that the commission directs the project review actions report incorporated in the minutes of the full commission meeting. So moved.
Moved, seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none? That is passed. Item 6, law enforcement committee report by...
Okay, we met this morning to discuss several things. It was brought up that we purchased a new motor, 250 horsepower. It's been received and is being installed in the next couple of weeks. We have approved from Albany, the new patrol dock in the village. So that will be being scheduled. And a new gas tank has been ordered for the patrol boat 105. We had a leak in that gas tank, and it took us a considerable amount of time to determine where the leak was, and decided to purchase rather than repair the tank. And right now, we're in discussions with the DEC on providing a full tracking system for the Green Island fuel tank and consumption. And we'll be reading a resolution to that effect to acquire a tracking system for the fuel. And then we went into executive session and came out about just before 10 o'clock. So that's been the update. I have a resolution for the law enforcement. Resolution 2024-4, the Law Enforcement Committee met on February 27, 2024, to review matters pertaining to the Lake George Park Commission's Marine Patrol and the Commission's law enforcement program. Whereas the active law enforcement cases and their status were reviewed in the executive session, and the Law Enforcement Committee has reported on the results of that committee meeting at this full commission meeting, and the Law Enforcement Committee recommends acceptance of the month's law enforcement report. Now therefore be resolved, the commission accepts the report of the Law Enforcement Committee. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no nays, passed.
Now we have a resolution for the Marine Patrol fuel needs. Resolution 2024-5, whereas the Lake George Park Commission Enforcement Committee has reviewed the status of the Marine Patrol fuel needs, determining the need for at least a 91 octane non-ethanol gas, and the Marine Patrol consumes approximately 60% of the annual gas consumption at the DEC Green Island facility, and the DEC is unable to obtain the high-test non-ethanol gas needed for the patrol boats, and the DEC has requested the Lake George Park Commission assume the responsibility of the fuel distribution system at Green Island, and whereas the Commission fuel tracking system at the Green Island facility is outdated and non-functional, and whereas the Commission needs to be able to accurately track all gasoline transactions to bill back to all agencies obtaining gas from Green Island. Now therefore be resolved, the Commission is hereby authorized to allocate funds not to exceed $25,000 in total for the purchase of and the installation of a fuel management system. Be it further resolved that the Executive Director is authorized to execute a purchase order for said dock consistent with the findings and requirements of the state finance law and Office of Standards and Purchase of the Office of General Services Procurement Guidelines. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing no nays, it's passed. And I think the world has to know that we use, 14,000 gallons of gas for the 2023 year. And that's a big hunk of something, and it costs some money to control
Yeah.
that product. Item 7 is public comments. We do have some public, and we'd like to tell us what we do better. Tell us what they'd like to see better.
Shorter meetings.
Have your parking validated. Hearing none of that, we'll pass on to that, and there's no...
Move for adjournment?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, second. We are adjourned.
Tired.
Thank you very much.
Nice job, Ken.
Great job, Jason. Thank you.
I didn't notice him. I am excited. Thank you.
Top of the morning.
You get credit too?
No, I don't think so. I'll get credit when it doesn't work.
So you sent some misinformation from Washington County, it looks like.